Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever noticed how Thai GL didn't just become popular because of the series themselves, but because behind so many of those shows there are novels that already carried the emotional weight, the tension, and the identity of the stories long before they ever reached the screen? That's exactly what I want to talk about today. Because when we watch a series like Gap, The Loyal Pin, 23.5, Blank, Pluto, or The Secrets of Us, we're not just watching random romance dramas. In many cases, we're watching the screen version of stories that were already deeply loved by readers. Stories that help shape the tone, the themes, and even the emotional language of Thai GL as a genre. And what makes this world so interesting is that these novels are not all doing the same thing. Some are soft and comforting. Some are dramatic and emotionally devastating. Some are built around class differences. Some around grief, secrecy, longing, second chances, or forbidden love. But all of them, in one way or another, helped build the foundation for what Thai GL has become today. So in this episode, I want to take a step back from the series alone and look at the stories at their source. I want to talk about the novels behind some of the most talked about Thai GL adaptations. What makes each one different? What emotional core each story carries? And why these books matter so much in understanding the bigger picture of the genre. Because if the series made the world fall in love with Thai GL, the novels are where a lot of that heart really began. And it's exactly to explore this beating heart that I decided to create this video. Before we dive into the plots and secrets of the novels that brought your favorite shows to life, I'd like to ask for a small favor. If you love the world of Thai GL and want to support me in bringing more content, deep dives, and news to this channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Your support is essential for me to keep studying, translating, and sharing everything that makes these stories so special with all of you. A huge thank you to everyone who subscribes. And now, let's get started. Let's start with one of the titles that basically opened the door for the global success of Thai GL stories. Gap, Pink Theory, the novel written by Chow Planoy and later adapted into the 2022 series starring Freen Sarocha and Becky Armstrong. This story revolves around a very particular kind of relationship. Two women who are separated by almost everything you can imagine, social status, age, and even workplace hierarchy, but who are deeply connected by admiration that slowly grows into love. Since childhood, Mon, whose full name is Kornkaman, has idolized Sam, M.L. Siwakorn, a young noblewoman who once helped her during a difficult moment in her life. That encounter left such a deep impression on Mon that it shaped her entire future. She studies hard, works relentlessly, and builds her career with one single goal in mind. One day working for Kun Sam, and being close to the woman she has admired for so long. But when that dream finally becomes reality and Mon is hired by Sam's company, she quickly realizes that the person she remembered is very different from the one she now works for. The kind and inspiring figure from her childhood has become what everyone calls Boss Sam. Cold, rigid, perfectionistic, and emotionally distant. Romantic and physical attraction is described in great detail. Sam becomes intensely possessive and jealous, traits that are actually even stronger in the book than in the television series. The main obstacle in their relationship is Sam's grandmother, a powerful and traditional figure who embodies the rigid expectations of aristocratic society. According to her, Sam is destined to marry a man of equal status to preserve the family's reputation. When the relationship between Sam and Mon is discovered, it creates a storm that forces Sam to face a painful choice: her title and family, or the love she feels for Mon. At its core, the novel explores themes like emotional education, Sam learning how to feel and express emotions she has suppressed her entire life, along with class prejudice and loyalty. Mon's journey is particularly powerful because she evolves from being an almost submissive admirer into the emotional anchor in Sam's life, proving that true strength doesn't come from titles or status, but from the courage to love. Without spoiling the ending for those who haven't read it yet, the novel ultimately delivers a message of hope and independence, suggesting that Sam might finally break free from the rigid expectations of her aristocratic past and start living her life in her own way, what the story calls her own pink theory. Another fascinating work in the Thai GL landscape is Pin Pak, also known as The Loyal Pin, written by Mon Ma and adapted into the 2024 television series. Unlike many contemporary GL stories, this one is set in the Thailand of the 1950s and carries the atmosphere of a classic period drama. The writing style is elegant and formal, and the narrative is filled with a sense of nostalgia, duty, and quiet emotional tension. The story follows two young women who grow up within the world of nobility: Princess Anilafat, usually called Anil, and Lady Pilantita, known as Pin. Anil, portrayed in the series by Becky Armstrong, is the youngest daughter of the royal family. She's intelligent, rebellious, and surprisingly modern in her way of thinking for someone living in such a conservative time. Pin, played by Freen Sarocha, is a young noblewoman raised under the strict supervision of her aunt within the royal palace. She represents discipline, tradition, and obedience. From the time they are children, Anil naturally takes care of Pin, protecting her and encouraging her to open up beyond her reserved nature. Over the years, their bond slowly evolves from a sister-like friendship into something deeper and far more complex. One of the most important turning points in the story happens when Anil leaves Thailand to study in Europe. This separation becomes crucial for the development of their relationship. The novel dedicates many pages to the letters they exchange during this time, where feelings that have long been suppressed begin to appear between the lines. While Anil absorbs new ideas about freedom and independence abroad, Pin remains trapped within the suffocating expectations of palace life, torn between her love for Anil and the duty she feels toward her role as a noblewoman. When Anil finally returns, the romantic tension between them becomes impossible to ignore. But their love immediately collides with the rigid social structures of the time. Pin is pressured by her family to enter an arranged marriage that will preserve the honor of their lineage, while Anil's position as a princess means that every aspect of her life is under public scrutiny. In the royal court of that era, their relationship isn't just forbidden, it's almost unthinkable. The symbolism of the loyal pin itself plays an important role in the story. The brooch represents loyalty, belonging, and the invisible bond that ties the two women together, even when circumstances try to pull them apart. A completely different tone can be found in 23.5, Always Be With You, a novel written by Wanafa and later adapted into the 2024 series starring Milk Panza and Love Patronite. This story is one of the defining examples of the Thai school life GL genre, and it stands out for its light, tender atmosphere and its exploration of first love in the digital age.
The protagonist is Angsa, a shy and socially awkward student who transfers to a new school.
There she becomes immediately captivated by Sun, the most popular girl in school, bright, kind, and admired by everyone. Angsa finds herself completely unable to talk to Sun in person, so she does something many people in the digital generation can relate to. She starts messaging her anonymously on Instagram under the pseudonym Earth. What begins as a timid attempt at friendship slowly turns into something much deeper. Sun falls in love with the personality behind the Earth account, unaware that the person she's connecting with online is actually the quiet classmate sitting just a few desks away from her in real life. The title 23.5 refers to the tilt of the Earth's axis, which becomes a metaphor for Angsa's life being tilted and transformed by her feelings for Sun. Unlike more dramatic GL stories, the conflict here is mostly internal. Angsa struggles with the fear that revealing her identity will destroy the bond she built with Sun as Earth. At the same time, the story gently explores her journey of understanding and accepting her feelings for another girl. The novel ultimately becomes a comforting story about honesty, identity, and the courage to be seen for who you really are. From there, the tone becomes much darker with Blank, another novel by Chow Planoy that was adapted into the 2024 series starring Faye Pariah and Yoko Apasra. If Gap is a story about discovery, Blank is a story about healing. The protagonist, M.L. Sipakorn, known as Kun Nuing, is a beautiful and wealthy aristocratic woman who lives in emotional isolation. After growing up under the harsh control of a perfectionist grandmother, she has learned to protect herself by shutting down emotionally, living in what she describes as a kind of inner emptiness. That emptiness begins to crack when she meets Nuing, a much younger girl whose bright, persistent personality is the complete opposite of Nuing's cold detachment. Nuing openly declares her admiration and love, relentlessly trying to break through the walls Nuing has built around herself. What begins as irritation slowly turns into something deeper, forcing Nuing to confront not only her feelings, but also the trauma and guilt that shaped her life. Another beloved story is The Secrets of Us, also known as Jai Rak, written by Meenam and adapted into the 2024 drama starring Ling Ling Kwang and Orm Kornapat. This novel moves away from school settings and focuses on a second-chance romance between two women who once loved each other deeply, but were separated by circumstances and misunderstandings. Falada is now a respected doctor who has buried herself in work to escape the pain of her past. Years earlier, the woman she loved, Ern, disappeared from her life without explanation. When Ern suddenly reappears as a rising star in the entertainment world and becomes the face of a campaign for the hospital where Falada works, the two are forced to confront the unresolved emotions they have tried to ignore for years. The novel explores forgiveness, emotional maturity, and the painful question of whether trust can ever truly be rebuilt once it has been broken. Another unique story in the genre is Pluto, written by ZZM and adapted into the 2024 series starring Namtan Tipnari and Film Rachanan. This novel blends romance with elements of mystery and psychological drama. The story begins with identical twin sisters, Ai-un and Ob-um. Despite looking the same, they couldn't be more different in personality. When Ob-um falls into a coma after a car accident, Ai-un discovers that her sister had been secretly involved with a woman named May. Wanting to protect May from heartbreak, especially because May is blind and unaware of the accident, Ai-un decides to pretend to be her sister. But as she spends more time with May, the lie becomes increasingly unbearable. Ai-un finds herself falling in love with the very woman who believes she is someone else. The story explores identity, deception, and the terrifying possibility that love built on a lie might collapse the moment the truth is revealed. Finally, there are several other important works in the genre, like Affair, Us, Mate, and Lucky My Love, each exploring different aspects of relationships, from childhood friends separated by tragedy, to love after loss, to comedic enemies to lovers dynamics, to gentle stories about fate and emotional support. Together, these novels form the foundation of what has now become a thriving Thai GL storytelling universe, where themes of love, identity, social pressure, and personal freedom are explored through a wide range of tones, from light and comforting to intense and emotionally devastating. For readers who want to explore the original stories, most of these novels can be found legally on platforms like MEB eBook, Read a Write, or sometimes Amazon Kindle, where some authors, like Chow Planoy, have published official English translations. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. If you're a fan of GL stories, chances are you've probably discovered other novels that deserve way more attention than they're getting right now. Maybe a story that hasn't been adapted yet, or a book that you think every GL lover should read at least once. So tell me in the comments, what other GL novels do you know that you think people should check out? What stories would you recommend to someone who really loves this genre? I'm always curious to discover new titles, and who knows? Maybe some of your suggestions could even become the topic of the next video. If you enjoyed this episode, and you like this kind of deep dive into the world behind GL series, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other GL fans who might enjoy it too. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.